If you're smart but lazy, you found the right video. This has been on my mind because I'm shocked more people aren't talking about this. I'm going through a book called Poor Charlie's Almanac. For those of you who don't know, Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's business partner. They are both billionaires, and I'm surprised more people don't read books by billionaires, especially in the business world. They give him a little bit more clout if billionaire wasn't enough. Alex Hormozy swears by Charlie Munger, and Tai Lopez has his book in the top 5, top 10 in his reading list. Regardless of what you think of Alex Hormozy or Tai Lopez, this is a highly respected man in business. All right, let me break down what's in the book because this is the epitome of why I feel like so many people are smart, but they just feel unmotivated. The book goes over various talks he gave at Harvard and other business schools, and he keeps bringing up in these speeches, years apart, this idea of mental models. Now, it's ironic because he's pushing the message of becoming somewhat of a generalist. He thinks in the modern world, there is a over-specialization in some of the fields, especially in business or in law. He argues that it's very narrow-minded how these disciplines are taught, because it's only within the echo chamber of law or business where these things are taught as opposed to the bigger general concepts, right? These mental models. To further drive home this point, there was a great book I read by Buckminster. It was named Operation Manual for Spaceship Earth. Pretty crazy name. For those of you who don't know that name, this guy was an inventor, futurist, architect. He was definitely a modern day Renaissance man. But in this book, he argued the idea of specialization leads to extinction. He gave specific examples of various animals that became so specialized that eventually, as soon as the climate changed, as soon as the environment changed, they died off. And he makes this case for modern times. And I think this is the same point that Charlie Munger was getting at. When you come to specialized and you come to narrow focused, it's difficult to adapt to the modern world, especially when the environment is changing fast. And that's the key. Some people refer to this being a T employee as opposed to an I employee or person. I know Elon Musk talked about how he only hires T employee, right? Where they have a wide general pool of knowledge that's very surface level, and then a very, very deep understanding on a certain topic, as opposed to just knowing the one topic, right? T versus I, or T versus I. But I'm finding the common thread of people able to compete at that level, having a solid grasp of reality through these models. And the reason that's important is because it allows them to become better decision makers. One of my favorite books of all time is Ray Dalio's Principles. Ray Dalio is a billionaire hedge fund manager. If you haven't, I should get paid for saying this. Not yet. Check out it, buy his book Principles. He actually has some great videos on YouTube as well. Feel free to watch that after this. But he talks about how he makes decisions for his hedge fund. And as I was comparing what Charlie Munger said to Ray Dalio, they both talk about being able to synthesize a situation, getting an accurate synthesis of a situation, both through time as well as scale, in order to summarize the events at hand. And through this, you put this into your mental models, if you will, right? Your general concepts for understanding reality. And this helps you make good decisions. We were probably thinking, where does the unmotivated part fit into this? Fits in right here. People that don't have the ability, I can say this because I'm currently learning about this. That's why I'm making this video, is people's ability to correctly synthesize a situation will in a lot of ways ultimately determine their success. If you are unable to get a clear summary of what's happening right now, and you're not able to cut that information down into the most valuable parts and thread them together, you're not going to make good decisions. That's only one part of it. If you don't have the correct mental models, if you're not basing your reasoning on models that smart people have spent years, lifetimes developing, you're not really going to get anywhere in life. Of course, people get lucky. Of course, there's exceptions, but then that's a game of probability. Are you willing to stake your life on a lottery ticket, right? On a bet, on probability? You shouldn't, okay? Your goal should be learning how to make better decisions through synthesizing a situation correctly and choosing and understanding the right mental models in order to make that decision. And that doesn't just go for business, that also goes for love, health, and overall happiness. That's why I believe it is imperative, even if you're not wanting to be uber successful in business, or even, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be uber successful in a relationship, you need models of reality that are accurate in order to increase the probability of your chance of being successful in life. So what are these mental models? I want to make a whole nother video because there could be a lot. Okay. I don't truly know how many there are, but that's what's exciting about it is in one of his speeches, Charlie Munger said, I can just give them to you, or if I let you go and find them, then it's not only will it stick better, but it's also more fun. So I think I'm going to make another video where I just share mine, but just to give some examples, a mental model would be like second order consequences, like being able to analyze how does my decision, like what is that second effect that happens, right? Going beyond first order consequences, essentially. Another mental model would be thinking probability. A good example for this, especially for people that are wanting to increase their love life, perhaps wanting to go on more dates, kind of seeing maybe cold approach, maybe walking up to a stranger you don't know as a hand of poker, and kind of seeing it as a mix of skill in order to present my best qualities as well as probability, right? Is the person, do they have a boyfriend? Are they available? Do they even like you? And it's just one application in this general mental model of probability that can be applied to many other aspects of your life. So those are some ideas of mental models. Again, I want to make another video where I go into detail on all the ones that I find resonate with me and that I really get locked in, because the goal isn't to get some kind of checklist, okay? Even though at the end of the video, ironically, I have a checklist, okay? That's not the goal. The goal is for this to be so ingrained in your life. It's almost like the stages of knowing, right? There's unconscious incompetence, like you don't even know you're bad, you don't even know you suck at making decisions because you don't know these mental models, and then you become aware of the mental models, right? The second stage, but you're still really bad at applying it to your life. And then the third, well, I'll probably just show the graph. All right, I don't want to be redundant. This is the graph. This applies to many other things, mental models being one of them. I know this wasn't the point to give you a checklist, but this is what I consider to be the cure for, people that are lazy or unmotivated. And this is for me, like I was feeling this week, and this was on my mind so much, because I think you can save yourself so much time when you put in the work to correctly synthesize the situation and then apply necessary mental models. Even if they're elementary, applying those mental models, making sure you're doing the correct thing. I like to think about it as before a pilot takes off, they always look at the checklist. I don't care if you've been flying for 30 years, you got to go through the checklist, doing the exact same elementary things every time. Because if you miss one of those, right, the consequences can be very intense. So I want you to think about mental models that you can apply to your life. This is the list I'm talking about. This is an old list by a name I mentioned earlier, Tai Lopez. He calls them the 25 cognitive biases. It has since evolved to the 39 triggers, as he calls it. But I really like the graph of the 25 cognitive biases. So I'll go ahead and share a link if I remember. If not, just type in 25 cognitive biases PDF and it will show up. I think there's so much power in being thoughtful in your decisions and using the necessary steps and correct logic to arrive at the best decision. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. This is probably the only video on the channel right now. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Maybe there will be another video for you to watch, or maybe not. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you later.